All right. Well, we'd like to welcome everyone on out to another episode of the Apex Show and Sell at the Peak live stream. Today we have with us Wendy Boatman of Boatman Club Lambs and Goats. How are you, Wendy?
I'm great. How are you doing, Riker?
Good, good. So, just to let everybody know, Wendy brought, if correct me if I'm wrong, you had the reserve Wether and the reserve doe.
Correct.
Correct. Perfect. So they brought a really great set. I'm super excited for the sneak peek that we're going to show you today. She looks like a really cool yearling doe. But we've got a lot of stuff to cover. We can just dive on into it. One thing I do want to remind the audience of, we can see your comments live. So if you have any questions for myself or Wendy, feel free to ask and we will do our best to answer them. We are not all knowing, but we can take your questions and we'll give it our best shot. So, all right. So let's just dive in. My phone's ringing right now.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about Boatman Club Lambs and Goats and how it got started.
Well, originally we were just Boatman Club Lambs. My husband's been raising sheep since he was a kid. David Boatman, and he got back into the sheep when his kids were old enough to start showing, and it all just grew into this. And we do it full time. And when our construction business slowed down during the crash, full time, so we headed out east, and it's just kind of gone crazy since then. And working together 24/7, it's a little difficult as a married couple. So David said one day, you know what? Why don't you try raising goats or something so you can do your own? Goats are kind of cute and seem like they're fun. So kind of dove into it with both feet, not knowing what we were doing because it was so new out here. And it was crazy. We tried raising them like sheep to begin with, and that really didn't work out very well. So there was a lot of learning that went on the first few years. But I think we've been doing it. This is our 13th year in the goats, and it's a lot different than when we started, let me tell you. So that's basically how we got started.
Okay, so now is the goat and sheep, you cut out for just a second on my end. Was it you guys are doing that full time, no more construction?
Correct. We've been full time just sheep and goats, raising sheep and goats for the last 10, no, it's been longer than that, last 12 years probably. So
Okay.
yeah, we're basically retired from construction and full-time ag industry.
Full-time ag industry and I notice you get to see your grandkids come over and help out quite a bit.
Oh, absolutely. We always enjoy that. And I'm sure I had a lot of comments on the farm help videos. I haven't put any on in a while, but it's a kick in the pants when they come over, and there's always something for them to explore, and dirt to eat, and grain to get into, and animals to chase, and what have you. So that's a ton of fun, and we're really enjoying that part of our lives. Being grandparents is, you always hear that it's the best thing ever, but it really is. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. My parents just became grandparents. This is my baby is their first, and they're
Oh,
just head
that's
over heels.
awesome.
So
Oh, how fun. Yeah, and in 2 years, then did you guys have a girl?
little girl. Yep.
Little girl, yeah. So when she's running around, oh yeah, you guys are gonna have a blast. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So you sent me some pictures of some things you're excited about in your program. And I think we start with the Bucks and the Rams, if I remember the order I put the slideshow in.
Okay.
All right. So tell us about this Ram here, Jones.
So Jones, this is David's super excited about this buck. We bought a buck a couple years ago from Eric Shell House that we called Tin Cup, and his first lamb crop. We had these two bucks. I think Jennings is the next one we'll probably see. But so David's obviously an old country song and singer lover. So Jennings and Jones is the pair that we got out of that. And he bred pretty much everything on the farm to these two bucks, and he's super super excited about the lambs. They're just powerhouses and fuzzy legged, just super trendy, really really cool sheep. So we're excited to bring a couple of those lambs out to the apex this year.
Oh, perfect. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So remind me how Tin Cup is bred.
Oh gosh, David couldn't be here. He had to go pick up some sheep, and uh I'm I can't tell you. I think it's on that flyer. It's on that picture somewhere.
Oh,
But
it's kind of hard to see, isn't it?
yeah, but oh yeah, I'm
Hell on
terrible at
Wheels
that.
by Ruckus. I
There,
found it.
yes, thank you. You saved me. David's gonna be like, "What the heck? You couldn't tell?" Yeah, so I'm bad. But I do know Jennings and Jones and Tin Cup, and they're awesome. So
Jennings Jones Tin Cup. All good sheep. All right. And here's the picture of Jennings, who's an OCD, out of an OCDU. So, is there
right.
any, um, r- the use for these two Rams? Are there particular reasons why the Rams were kept out of them? Are these some of the best ewes or?
Yeah, they've been consistently really, really good producers. This particular buck, Jennings, his mama is an incredible female producer. We've got several of her daughters, and they've they put out some of the probably the top 10% every year. Um, so we're really really big on the female base in the sheep and the goats, and so when we keep bucks or rams, we try to make sure that the moms have been around long enough to prove themselves, or at least out of proven genetics on our place. Um, it seems to make a huge difference for us in their consistency, and we just feel better about the gamble on throwing them into the breeding pen. And like I said, we bred pretty much the whole farm to these two young bucks, and it worked out good for us. So
That's good. That's good. I'm
yeah,
super excited to see what you guys bring down. All
yeah.
right. We're going to transition, I think, now to goats. Here we go. Chuck.
Chuck. Oh my gosh. So I bought half interest in Chuck from Rex Quam at Northern Exposure Livestock. And I tell you, his picture hit me really hard. He was in an online sale with a buck option. Um, and when I saw his picture, he just hit me so hard. I told David I have to buy him. I wasn't even looking for a buck at the time. But that gut instinct paid off big time. His kids are really, really cool, and he did everything that I wanted him to do. Kept a really cool profile on him, really big, shaggy legs, so that they're trendy. Added a really good hip in him, super, super cool rib shape. You can see in the picture how opened up he is underneath, and his babies are the same way. So we're super excited with the kids that we got on the ground out of Chuck. And he came with
Um,
that name. I guess there's a story behind it, but Rex hasn't shared that with me, so I'm not sure.
that's unfortunate. I like the stories for names. Um,
Right, I might have to figure that out. I'll see him next weekend out there in Indiana, so I'll have to get that story from him.
perfect, perfect. Um, I'm always just impressed with a lot of the goat breeders right now, these goats have come such a long ways in such a
Yeah.
short amount of time. It's just
Yeah.
crazy how much progress, how much cleaner fronted they are, and how much more mass, and they're starting to look like sheep, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's funny that that was one of the first things that David and I talked about when we started raising goats is you got to make them look like sheep, and then you're going to really have something. And that's kind of been our goal from the get-go. And it's crazy how much, like you said, how much they've changed. Their hides are so much better, and there's not all that loose skin like there was 10 years ago. And the front
Yeah.
end, the muscle shape is what blows my mind. But yeah, it's still changing, like this year to next year, and it's crazy. It's moving fast.
Yeah, yeah, it really does. Just I'm just blown away. Every progressive year, these goats get better, and your guys' goats have followed that trend quite a bit.
Thank
So,
you.
all right, let's see what we got next. I think we got some champions that we wanted to talk about. Oh wait, no, we got one more, maybe one or two more bucks. Let me see what we got here. Boom, man crush.
Uh, yeah. So Man Crush is a buck that I bred. I bought some semen from Kate Hoffman on Try Harder, and this was the result. And he's really made a statement over the last year and a half or so. His babies have done great things, and we're offering semen on him now and leasing him out to a few farms that are excited to use him, because we've got so many of his females that we've kept back now, and they're just starting to put babies on the ground right now, and they look really good. So we're excited about that. Um, and I haven't done it yet, but I'm thinking that him bred to his daughter's bred to Chuck might knock it out of the park. So maybe we'll see some of those next year.
Heck yes, absolutely. That's something to get excited for right there. All
Yep.
right. Okay, we're just playing roulette with the slideshow. I have no idea what's next. So here we go. Supreme Market Doe, Montana Royal.
Okay. Yeah. So that's actually several different backdrop pictures of the same doe. She was awarded the Doe of the Year award for the 509 jackpot series. Um, she put up like a total, I think, I had Elena Barger showed her and she counted up for me. And I want to say there was 13, 14 banners that doe put up. She's a Man Crush daughter, and just been a stellar show doe, and she's going in the breeding pen in 2 months. So that'll be fun to see what she produces.
Straight into the flush program, or just gonna AI or
Yeah,
breed her first.
I'll probably breed her. I'm still a little scared with the flush deal. We've tried that a couple of times and it hasn't been hugely successful. Uh, so I don't know. I still talk myself into it about every 2 years, it seems like. So she would definitely be in the flush pen if we decide to do that.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. That's a good look. I actually do remember seeing this doe at the Apex, and she was pretty dang cool, pretty dang cool
Yeah, she was
too.
reserved at the memorial show there. So
All right, let's see what we got next.
okay, this
All
is
right, Piper.
Wether. Yes, this is the Wether Piper showed last year. This little guy, he's a Man Crush as well, and he came out of the gates swinging, winning champion banners everywhere he went. Unfortunately, he got sick in the middle of the season, but then he came back strong at the end and hung a bunch more banners. Um, and I think Piper said he put up close to 20 banners, even though he had a bunch of time off. But this goat's kind of cool because he's the third brother that Piper showed. Um, out of the same breeding, and every one of them hung multiple banners for her. Uh, so it's a pretty cool story for her. And this year, the doe had another buck kid that got weathered, and he was sold in our online sale. And it was kind of hard not to send him back to Piper too, just because of the trend that we had going there. But I think he found a pretty good show family, so we're excited to see what they can do with him.
Perfect. I was actually at the Arizona State Fair, and I saw that dude in person. Another impressive goat. Really, just a hands down good goat that looks more like a sheep. So, and that's the only way I can tell if they're good is if they look like sheep. So,
I think my husband's the same way.
All right. So you've got some camps coming up. Talk to us about your camp.
Yeah, so every year we put on a 3-day camp here on our ranch. We usually have people from about 5 states that make the trip. We open up one of our fields and everybody camps. Some people do stay in town at the hotels and what have you, but it's a great time, and we cover everything from A to Z. From selection, fitting, showing, but we focus on showmanship and tons of hands-on. All the kids bring their lamb or their goat with them, and we spend the first 2 days just teaching, and then day 3 we have a jackpot show just for the kids in camp. It's not open to the public beyond people who are in camp, and it's a great time. We go ahead and do a confirmation class just to get the jitters out, and then the big time showmanship competitions come up, and the coveted buckles and all that stuff are up for grabs. So but yeah, it's great. We've been doing it, I think this is our 13th year that we've been doing it here. So we usually have about 100 campers and all their families. It's a bunch of fun. So we've still got a few spots open if somebody wants to sign up and come. It's always Mother's Day weekend every year, and we do the entries on the Showman app. So anybody that wants to come and have a good time and learn how to show, we have advanced classes too. So it's all levels, beginners to advanced. So everybody can learn something. And yeah.
Are you good with me putting your phone number up if people want to contact you about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. This is the cool thing about this little program I use is I can do stuff like that on the fly. Boom. Look at that.
Wow.
Technology working for us. Awesome. So yeah, give Wendy a call. I've heard great things. I have not ever personally attended the camp, but I know of people who make the trip even from Utah. It may
Yeah.
seem a little far. It's not too far. I'm sure you've had people come from further than Utah. What do you think's the furthest someone's traveled for your camp?
We actually had a family come from Oklahoma one year. So that was probably the furthest.
You know what? I think I met them, actually. They
You
hauled a
may have.
sheep. I bought a ewe from you guys, and they brought her back to
Oh
Utah
yeah,
for me.
yeah, yeah.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Funny. Funny. All right. Um, all right. Let's transition to the next slide. I think we've got some more winners coming up after this.
Oh yeah. So this doe is her name's Nadia, and she is the mother of Piper Liska's Wethers that have done so well for her, and the one that was state champion.
Okay, so this is one of those foundation females that's done a lot for your program.
Yeah,
Is
absolutely. And she Maya McCafferty showed her, and she always did okay in the doe shows, never great, but she won every market show she showed in, including, I think that picture right there was the FFA market show at the Oregon State Fair.
Okay, so you've mentioned that Piper's shown a Wether out of her every year for 4 years. Has she had a doe or two for you?
She has never had a doe kid. She's had a
Oh,
Single buck kid every year.
Oh, that hurts. All right,
I
but
know.
there's some light at the end of the tunnel. So let me tell you, I had a ewe that did the same exact thing, made some of my sister's best show lambs. We were like, one more year. We're going to try. She's 8 years old. We're going to give it one last shot. She had the ewe lamb. It happened.
Oh,
So
perfect.
it does happen.
All right. This year, maybe this coming year.
Yeah, just maybe. All right, here's another doe.
Okay, this doe, Bailey Lake, up there in Montana, she showed this doe, and that picture I think was down at Arizona Nationals, and she was, I want to say she placed fourth in her class. Big, stout doe out of a, she was an AI doe that I bought tree shaker semen. It was a buck that Mock had raised, and she's just an incredible, big, broody, powerful doe, and she's the mom to the doe kid that Elena Barger had shown all last year that we pictured earlier.
Okay. I love these foundational females. I like to go over foundational females. It's a
Yeah, and like
good.
I said earlier, the females are the bomb. So
Yep.
you
Yep.
gotta have good females.
They
Yeah.
make or break your program, that's for sure.
Yep. Okay, and this little doe right here, she didn't get shown a whole lot a few years ago, but she won the PI out here in Oregon, and she is the mama to the consignment that I'm bringing to the Apex show.
Okay. The doe that you're bringing?
The yearling doe, yeah. So this is the mom to the yearling doe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. And then the moment everyone's been waiting for, the reveal.
This is the yearling doe that we're bringing out to the Apex, and straight out of the keeper pen. She's March born last year, so just a year old. Um, just an incredibly flashy, well put together doe. She handles like a lamb. She has the most incredible hide, thin, tight skin doe. Super, super hard touching, monster topped. Really, really beautiful up through her front end. So she's a hard one to let go, but I watched one of your lives a while back, and I believe it was, who was it? I think it was with the judge. And
Nathan?
yep. And he made a comment about what to bring to a live sale, and it was bring ones that you wouldn't want to sell. She fits that category for us. So
This is the one, huh?
yeah.
Perfect. I'm actually working diligently to get the video to work for her so we can watch that. Here we go. All right. It's gonna work. Technology has been a wrestle today, folks, but it's gonna work. Hey, if you have any comments, drop them in there. We're super excited to show you this video though. So let me get it pulled up so we can watch this. Chrome
I
tab.
just have to throw out there that we're not super technical. So all of our pictures and videos are done with our cell phone. So I apologize if they're not super professional.
No, no, they're really good. And let's be honest, these phones do things that cameras could never do for the longest amount of time. So
That's true.
I'm always impressed when somebody sends me nice phone pictures. I'm like, yeah, this is fantastic. All right, I've got it pulled up. The technology was a little difficult for a second, but here we go. Here's the video of the doe they're bringing. Perfect. All
Mm.
right. That I think you saw a lot in that video. I saw that female had great feet underneath her. Um,
Monster footed. Yeah.
yeah. Um,
That's one thing in my herd that is really important to me. Um I don't I can't do a fine boned animal, so you won't really find many of those around here.
yeah, perfect. Big feet, nice, good feet too, healthy feet. Nothing like she's not breaking in any place. She's blown apart in her pin set, super wide, stout, but still maintains that femininity that you want to see in a doe. I mean, she doesn't look like a wether or a buck. She looks like a doe, you know? So
Yeah.
I think you nailed it right there. It looks like one that you wouldn't want to get rid of.
Yeah, she's good. Somebody's going to be real happy with her.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Do you have time for some more questions?
Yes.
Perfect. Let me dive into the questions I have prepared. Um, all right. Favorite goat or lamb that you've ever raised?
Hmm. That's a hard one having a favorite.
You've probably had a lot. You know.
It
n-
changes from year to year,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
honestly.
Maybe just last year's.
Last year's favorite goat was probably that doe that Elaine Barger showed. She just kind of put it all together for me in her design, and um, you know, when every judge that she's in front of kind of feels the same way, then it validates you a little. So I would have to say she was probably my favorite goat last year.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite livestock show or the most memorable livestock show you've been to?
The most memorable livestock show I've been to was Nally out in Louisville. The last time that I'd gone with our daughter, Alyssa, and it was just probably because it was her last show, so it was just kind of special, and for me to be out there with her, and things didn't go exactly as planned, but a lot was learned. So it was a there was some good life lessons that happened in that show, and I think she would say the same thing. But that was a good one for me.
Awesome. All right. What hobbies do you have outside of raising sheep and goats?
So I am an avid archery hunter. Um, David's and I's first date, he told me he was going to raise sheep, and I told him I was going to be gone the month of September to hunt elk. So everything, everything on the schedule is open except for September. Um, I'm there's no kidding in September. There's no lambing in September. It's yeah, I'm gone pretty much the whole month with my bow, just hiking around the elk woods.
You know, I wish I was more into hunting. I did a little bit of it, and then football happened, and that became like my number one passion, right?
David would
But
be right there with you.
but I like the Meat Eater show just gets me. I love watching. I don't know if you've seen that on Netflix,
No,
but
I have not.
oh man, highly recommend it. It's this guy, all he does is hunt and like cook venison, and
Oh, nice.
he he's made a life of that and has a Netflix show. It's awesome, but it makes me want to be a hunter. I deeply desire it.
Yeah, it's pretty intense, especially when you're calling bulls into 5 yards away that are screaming at you and raking trees, and it's there's nothing else like it. Yeah, you got to experience it. If you haven't, you really should.
I do. Maybe I'll have to have you take me because
All right.
I'm obviously not talent. The closest I've come to an elk, I think we called in and we thought we had a bull coming, and then it was a cow, and she just walked by like 20 yards away from us. but,
Oh, no.
but it was a good time, you know? But any
Mhm.
life-threatening situations you've been in with that?
Um, yeah, actually, David and I were out hunting elk, and we came across the top of this ridge and got out on this point that was full of deadfall, and there was bear scat everywhere, like it was
Uh-oh.
covered with bear scat. And I said, there must be a den around here somewhere because this is crazy. And no sooner did I say that, we heard something turn around, and the bear cub ran up to us and ran up the tree that I was standing next to and started growling and hissing at us. And then here comes the sow,
Uh-oh.
and she's like strutting, huffing and puffing right up to it. I mean, we're both at full draw with our bows, and I'm telling David, "Don't shoot her. She's got babies." And she came to about 10 yards, and we were starting to panic. So we just kind of started talking louder and louder and louder. And the wind was in our favor, thank goodness. So she wasn't sure what was going on. Eventually turned and walked away about 80 yards and then started to circle us. So we just like beat cheeks and got out of there. But it was a little scary there for a second.
Never had to worry about the elk, but the bear you had to worry
Yeah,
about.
yeah. I mean, I've been within a couple of yard. Well, actually, I shot a bull at 6 inches away. I had to literally step backwards to release my arrow. It's a whole big story, but I was just hoping that when I shot him, he turned away from me instead of on top of me. It all worked out good, but
Oh
that
my
could have
goodness.
been, I guess,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to hear that story someday. That
Okay.
that sounds like a good one. All right. Um, what's a piece of advice that you could give someone that's either a breeder or showman, or maybe the best piece of advice that you've been given? One of those two.
Well, I would say if you're starting out, first and foremost, find a mentor, find somebody that has been in it and uh, kind of knows their way around and knows genetics and breeders and can kind of guide you in the right direction. And beyond that, I mean, I've kind of, not to beat a dead horse, but focus on your females. I think way too many people get worried about the bucks and buying semen and stuff from all over the place and then trying to put it all together. But if you're patient and you take your time and you're selective and you just build from the inside out and concentrate on your females, you'll have a much stronger program that is more consistent, and then you can use a buck to make the little changes that you need to change and not have such a hodgepodge, I guess. So, that would be my advice, is to focus more on your females and not get so concerned about buying everything that's new every year.
Yeah. That's great advice. And you mentioned a mentor as well. Who's somebody that's helped you to get where you are?
Early on, I worked with Justin and Jennifer Burns down in California quite a bit, and he pointed us in the right direction. We bought a half interest in a buck from him called Freakin' Easy, and he kind of changed our program in a lot of ways. A lot of the foundation does that we have now are out of or go back to that Freakin' Easy buck. So Justin and Jennifer were very helpful to us. And honestly, being in Oregon, it's really difficult to find somebody because there's not very many Wether breeders out here. There's a lot of ABGA folks around, but there honestly there's not really anybody out here that's actually breeding Wether genetic goats. So it's a little tough, but you know, if you just reach out to people, there's a lot of people that are always willing to help, whether it just be from a phone call or, they're able to come and visit and help you sort through your animals or whatever. But um, but it's huge. Like I said, have a mentor, and otherwise you're spending a whole lot of time just kind of trying to figure it out, and then by the time you do, you're even further behind. So this thing's
Yeah,
moving so fast that it's crazy.
that's perfect. Um, Next question. Um, what's a day in the life for you guys? What's a typical, I don't know. I don't know.
Typical day on the farm.
Yeah, typical day on the farm for you guys.
Well, it kind of depends on the time of year. Sometimes we feel like we're kind of retired and, we only have to spend a few hours in the morning, a few hours in the evening feeding and checking animals. But um, it's getting busier and busier because, there's more and more goats out there. They seem to multiply pretty quick. And it's just kind of, we get up in the morning, have our coffee, and then, and then we're out in the barn, feeding, checking, doctoring babies. And I probably spent a lot more time on the goats. There seems to be a higher maintenance issue with the goats than there is the sheep for sure. So I'm always doctoring something, it seems like. And then we have a really great gal that works for us part time, Maya McCafferty, that has been a godsend because now it's not just David and I trying to wrestle all these animals around, but it seems like we get a lot more done now. But there's always feet to trim, and we're always working goats. And the sheep, we only have to trim feet once a year, it seems like, and deworm them a couple times a year. But uh, the goats, I tell you, it's it's a nonstop deal.
I,
It really is. So if somebody's out there wanting to raise goats, just know that it's a lot of work.
I think I heard it said once, sheeps are the preteens of the livestock world and goats are the toddlers.
Oh yeah, the terrible twos.
Perfect. All
Yeah.
right, last question I have for you. What is a goal that you have as a breeder or something you'd like to accomplish?
My biggest goal is, well, it's kind of tiered, I guess. So my immediate goal right now is to try to win a division at a national show. Um, we've accomplished the state fair, the state level. So the next step is a division at a national, and then obviously eventually one of these days, maybe if the stars align, actually win a national show. But I'll settle for a division right now.
Perfect. Awesome. That's a great goal. All right. You guys are heading to Indiana, right?
We are.
Okay. Is that your next sell or do you have an online sell before that?
No, our next one is Indiana. Well, actually, let me back up. We have to the Sunday, this coming Sunday, we have our customer appreciation lamb sale. So we've got, I believe, seven or eight consigners in that sale that are folks that work with us that uh, have used our bucks or bought bucks or have a lot of our females or whatever, but use a lot of our genetics. And there's some really, really awesome lambs selling in that sale on Sunday. That's on Willoughby. So anybody that's still looking for a lamb project might want to check that out. There's some good ones in there. Um, and then we head out to Indiana. I leave on Monday, um, head out there. And then not long after I get back is the Apex. I think we have another lamb sale, the Jennings and Jones sale coming up. Also, I think that might be the weekend between the Premier and the Apex, and that'll be on Willoughby as well. But we haven't scheduled the online Doge sale yet, but that'll be coming up probably the end of April sometime. So keep an eye out for that if you're looking for does.
Perfect. Online sales are at wlivestock.com. And guys, if you're looking for a good goat, sure Wendy has some available. Private treaty, do you have any left?
I don't have any private treaty Wethers left, but I do have some Dolings out there. So
Okay,
unless you're looking for a late one, the March set is on the ground and looks killer. So if you're looking
perfect.
for a young one, hit me up.
Okay, all right, guys. They have great goats. They're raising some of the best in the country. We're super excited to have them back to the Apex for round 2. And i- I am just so impressed with the quality they bring and the good people they are. So, Wendy, thanks for coming on today. Anything else you want to say before we sign off?
No, I mean, thanks for having us on, and we look forward to coming out to the Apex. It was a great sale last year. We had a great time. Lots of really fun people out there, and so we look forward to it again.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you. Just want to remind everybody you can find more information about the Apex at theapexshow.com. Our sale is April 8th and 9th in Spanish Fork, Utah at the Spanish Fork Fairgrounds. The show is broadcast live on Show Barn Flicks, so you can be there in person or you can watch it online. And the sale is also available online. The auction will be through CCI Live. So you can bid online or you can bid in person. Both work. Both are great. Of course, we want as many people to show up in person as possible. COVID is dying, and if it's not dying, I'm declaring it so. So
Absolutely.
come to Spanish Fork, have a good time with us. Let's have a great sheep show and a great sell. And we'll see you guys April 8th and 9th. Thank you so much, Wendy.
Thank you, Riker. Have a good one.
You too. We'll see you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.